Hi there, I'm Michelle Webb, founder of Eat Smart Food Plan. And today I'd like to talk to you about one of the mindset traps that I think really causes a lot of problems for people. But first, I'd really like to take a moment to say thank you to Barbara for inviting me to participate in the Own Your Life series and the Mirror Revolution. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. And I'd also like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. You know that old expression, 80% of success is just showing up. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to take a moment just to share a little bit about my life and my journey so that you have an understanding of why you should even listen to me in the first place. From the time I was about 16 or 17, I was always on a diet. Always carrying extra weight, and I was always trying different ways to lose weight. I tried fasting. I'd go for a week without eating and wouldn't start eating again until I was shaking and dizzy. I tried the low fat diet. All of these diets failed big time. Not only would I gain the weight back, I would gain a few extra pounds. And I tried everything. Grapefruit diet, soups, you name it. I tried it all. I was to the point that I was about ready to give up. I was just fed up and I didn't really feel very confident or very good in my body. During this time, I decided that I needed a little bit of an adventure. So I packed everything up and I flew to the Cayman Islands. I was so excited and so passionate and just could not wait to get there, thinking I'm leaving all this winter behind and I'm going to this tropical island and life is going to be great. I arrived there. I got a job right away, found a place to stay. Everything was going great. Enjoying the beach, swimming, trying not to think about, the extra weight I was carrying. And about 6 weeks into my adventure down there, I started to feel really unwell. So I was getting very tired, very weak, very dizzy. And so I went to a doctor, and the doctor did some blood work and determined that I was anemic. And this seemed like a very simple solution. Just, take some iron pills, get B12 shots, and everything would be fine. So I started taking the B12 shots, and then I ended up getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I went back to the doctor, and he apologized and admitted that he hadn't looked at the rest of my blood panel, and that he discovered that a lot of my other blood results were totally out of whack, but he didn't know why. So I continued on this path of getting sicker and sicker. My hair was falling out. I became hypoglycemic, just incredibly weak. I couldn't even climb a set of stairs. And for somebody really young, that's really scary. And all my friends are out enjoying the beach, scuba diving, snorkeling, having fun, having parties. Meanwhile, I'm on my day off at the library trying to figure out what disease I had. It was really scary and really terrifying being there on my own with no family and not really a great medical system. And I didn't really know what to do. And at one point, I was walking through the library, and my hand sort of fell upon this book on food sensitivities. And I thought, wow, I wonder if that's possible. So I went back to the doctor and I asked the doctor, is it possible that food has anything to do with what's going on? And he sort of laughed at me and he said, well, it's possible, but it's not really likely. He said, but if it'll make you feel better, I'll send you off to a dietitian. So I went and found this great dietitian, and she did some tests and asked me to fill out a lot of paperwork and determine that I actually had candida. So she put me on a strict diet and said, look, I need you to eliminate sugar and a few other things. And she said, just remember that the first week you're going to be detoxing a bit, you're going to feel a bit rough, but after that, you're going to start to feel better. Well, within a few weeks, I started to feel better and better. I got more energy. And then I had a girlfriend come down to visit, and she brought with her a bunch of Halloween candy. So I was thinking to myself, oh, this diet doesn't work. And I ended up eating a whole bunch of Halloween candy. The next day, I could barely get out of bed. I was so sick. I had such bad joint pain, no energy. just felt absolutely horrible. And it was at this point that I really realized the impact that food has on your body. And I think a lot of times people just are eating things every day and they're feeling lethargic or they have tummy troubles and they don't really realize that it's the food that they're eating. And I think if you're really sick and you eat something that's not good for you, you really have a much bigger impact. So once I started to realize the impact of food on me, I started to change the way I ate. And initially, I started trying to substitute different things and, trying to find other sweeteners other than sugar. And I really realized that that just wasn't really working that well. But once I got onto eating a whole food diet, just eating real whole food, the difference was remarkable. It was absolutely remarkable. And not only was I feeling better, but the weight started to come off. So I really, really would encourage people to always just sort of keep going, and that, when you start eating differently and changing your diet, sometimes it's not easy in the beginning. So this brings me to the mindset trap. And this was probably one of the biggest things for me in the beginning when I first started dieting and even when I was fasting and things, was the idea that you have to be perfect, that every day you have to be perfect. And what I've realized over time is that I find that if I think about doing my best every day, I stick to the program and I don't beat myself up. And I think that's the other part of it, is you have to have compassion for yourself. You just have to really think about being kind to yourself and not beating yourself up, because it doesn't help anything. And the drive to be perfect is pervasive in our society, and it's a thread that runs through everything that people do. And I think a lot of times what happens is people start a program and they're good for a couple days and then they fall off the wagon and then they beat themselves up and say, I can't do this, and they give up. So I really want to stress how important it is to not try and be perfect. That every day you get up and you think, you know what, I'm going to do my best today. I'm going to do my absolute best to eat healthy, drink lots of water, and take the best care of my body. And if there's a day where something comes up where, you have a bag of chips or you drink a soda, don't beat yourself up. Just stick with the program and say, you know what, today wasn't the best day, but I know I can do better tomorrow. And I'm a huge fan of Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. And she has a fabulous quote about perfectionism. And she says, I think perfectionism is just fear in fancy shoes and a mink coat, pretending to be elegant when it's actually terrified. Because underneath that shiny veneer, perfectionism is nothing more than a deep existential angst that says again and again, I am not good enough and I will never be good enough. So I want you to really think about that, and about perfectionism, and about doing your best every day. And if you have a day when it doesn't go absolutely the best and you eat something that you shouldn't, or you didn't drink enough water, be compassionate to yourself, be kind to yourself, and just think, you know what? That was today, tomorrow's another day. So I'd like to again say thank you to Barbara for inviting me to be here today. And here's to your health, and hopefully a better, healthier you, where you can own your life. Thanks and goodbye.